Hello, and welcome to another great day in physics. Today, we are going to learn about simple machines and how they help the world. This is going to help us in creating our Rube Goldberg project design and how these simple machines contribute to the Rube Goldberg machine. So, let's get started. What are simple machines? Well, simple machines are devices that make work easier. There are simple machines everywhere around us, even some on our body. But simple machines help us complete work faster and easier. Simple machines help decrease the amount of force required when moving an object. The biggest word there, decrease. We need to make sure we understand that simple machines are meant to decrease the amount of force required. Now, let's get started with our first simple machine. Our first simple machine is called a wedge. What is a wedge? Well, the physics definition is a type of inclined plane with one or two sloping sides. We're going to see inclined plane become another one of our simple machines. A wedge is a very particular type of inclined plane because it has two sloping sides, one or two. Now, the purpose of a wedge is that how do they make work easier? Well, they can help split an object apart. So, all of these pictures down here, these are all examples of wedges. For example, we have right here an axe, and we see again down here how that axe splits apart one thing. In this instance, it's a piece of wood. We see in this axe head that it has two sloping sides on each side, so it can split apart the wood. Here you have another case of a wedge too. You could even put this wedge inside a crack of wood and split it apart if you didn't have an axe. Here we have a crowbar. This crowbar is actually two simple machines, but we're going to focus on the one simple machine, and that's the wedge. So a lot of times when you're using a crowbar, you're usually trying to split apart different objects, whether that is maybe tile on the floor, or maybe you're trying to split open a box, a wooden box, and you're trying to get off the lid. So the cases in which there's a wedge is the front part and the bottom part. And you might be seeing the smile right here. Yes, your teeth are a wedge. You might be thinking, well, how can they split apart things? Well, think about it. Your food and anything that you eat, you split apart. For example, a sandwich, you take your teeth and you clench into that sandwich, you're splitting apart pieces into smaller pieces for your mouth to chew and eventually for your stomach to digest. So your teeth are natural wedges that you have in your body. Now, I want you to think. It's think time. Which of these is a knife, B, a ramp, C, stairs, or D, a flag? Which one is a wedge here? Take the time to choose. So hopefully by now you figured out it was A. It is a knife. Why is it a knife? Well, the knife separates things. So like when you're cutting a cake, you're separating it into smaller pieces easier. Now, our second simple machine, a wheel and axle. What is a wheel and axle? Oh, axle, excuse me, is two different size circles rotating together. How do they make work easier? Something that reduces the friction of moving something. So, for instance, when we're in a chair, the wheels on a chair help us move easier. The wheel on a wheelbarrow helps us move things that are in the container easier. And here we have another instance. We have a rod, which is the axle part, and the wheels. And again, here's another example. In a door, our doorknobs are an example of a wheel and axle. So we're going to actually see the wheelbarrow come in because we're going to see another type of simple machine in the wheelbarrow. So now it's again think time. Which one of these would be an example of a wheel and axle? Is it A, B, C, or D? Pick now. Hopefully by now you picked that it was C. Yes, definitely. This is the undercarriage of a car. We see the axles go through the car right here, and we have the wheels are four wheels. Our third type of simple machine, which is an inclined plane. An inclined plane is a flat, sloped surface or a ramp. How do inclined planes make work easier? Well, it reduces the amount of force needed to put on an object going up or down. The best example of this is, think about it. If you're at point A down here at the bottom of a staircase and point B, which is all the way up here, maybe 20 feet up high, a staircase makes it really easy for you to get from point A to point B. But if you didn't have that staircase, it would be incredibly hard. You would have to try and climb up to point B, which would make it really hard for you. So it makes it work easier. Same thing here. We have a ramp at a skate park, an inclined plane, and look here. We have a man pushing a box onto a truck. That inclined plane makes that force easier. He would have to try to pick up this heavy box and try to get it onto the truck, which would make his work harder. But the inclined plane makes it easier. So again, think time. Which one of these is an inclined plane? Would it be the light bulb, the chair, this contraption, or D? So hopefully by now you picked it was D, the water slide. Yes, it makes us going from point A, which is at the top right here, to point B in the water a whole lot easier. Going on, we have our screw is our next simple machine. It is a type of inclined plane wrapped around a post. We have the inclined plane wrapped around. We see it in the best example with the screw, but it's not just the metal screws that we see here. We see in other examples, the screw thread on a light bulb or the screw thread on a jar. We have those cases. It allows, how does it make work easier? It can hold things together or lift an object. All of these, the point of a screw is to help the objects stay closer together. For example, screws hold, this type of metal screw holds two pieces of wood together. This light bulb screw thread helps connect the light bulb part to the electrical component, and the jar lid to the jar. It helps screw on the jar lid. So again, think time. Which one of these is a type of screw? Is it A, B, C, or D? So hopefully by now you picked it is C. Yes, definitely. We see the screw down here. We have the inclined plane wrapped around the post in a gumball machine. We have our next simple machine, which is a pulley. A pulley is a grooved wheel with rope or cable wrapped around it. We see that here in this picture and in the flagpole. And definitely we see in the sea dock where we have pulleys definitely used to take those shipping containers on and off boats. How do they make work easier? Well, it's something that helps that uses rope to reduce and change the direction of the force. So for example, if I have a huge bucket with a lot of weight to it, I can pull that rope down to lift that bucket up instead of just trying to pull that bucket up. Same thing here. If I'm trying to lift this heavy flag up, I can pull down with the rope and the flag will go up. Same thing here. I have for a tow truck, the rope going down while it's lifting the car up. It's helping reduce the amount of force. And of course, humans can't pick up huge, large metal containers, so they have to use these pulleys to lift up these huge containers. And again, think time. Which one of these is an example of a pulley? Be careful here. There's one that's going to trick you. All right, so again, hopefully you chose B. Here's an example of a pulley on a sailboat. Definitely we have the rope wrapped around the wheel. Hopefully some of you didn't pick D. D is actually a wheel and axle because we have the wheel and we have the axle. You might be thinking, well, there's a rope there. Yes, but it's not a pulley per se because we turn this wheel, which turns the axle, which is right here. And our last simple machine is a lever. What is a lever? Lever is a rigid bar that pivots around a fixed point. We call that fixed point a fulcrum. How do they make work easier? Well, it's something like a long stick to help you move an object that is heavy or make a process go faster. We come back to the wheelbarrow example. We lift this wooden lever up so we can lift this heavy, maybe dirt, concrete, whatever it might be in the wheelbarrow. And we have a wheel and axle help us with that as well. A screwdriver helps us take that screw and screw it into the wood a lot easier than if we just had our hands. We have a hammer being an example. It helps us pull that nail out of it. Seesaw is an example of a lever because we have the fulcrum, which is in the center, a fixed point. It pivots around that fixed point while we have the different people on that seesaw go up and down. You might be seeing up here, your arm is an example of a lever. It's one of the most natural levers we have in this world. Now, you learned about the simple machines, but before we go on, which one of these is a lever? Is it A, B, C, or D? Hopefully by now you picked C. It is the catapult. The catapult is one of the most ancient versions of a lever. This would be an example of a screw. This is a wheel and axle. And here we have another pulley with a tow truck. Now let's wrap it up and put it all together. Can you name what are the examples of simple machines that I have within this can opener? This can opener is an example of a compound machine, which is multiple simple machines put together into one device. Like I said, this is a compound machine. So right now, list some examples of simple machines that are within this can opener. So hopefully you saw that we have examples of levers, wheel and axles, and wedges that are in this this compound machine. I hope you learned a lot about simple machines.